Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Zanboro. He's Captain Gimpy, and we're from the cinehorde.
And today, I remember, somewhat mentioning that I would like to do more content that features, disability in some meaningful way.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons we watched today's movie, called Please Stand By.
Yeah.
And if this were a live stream, you would have seen a lot of technical difficulties that would have caused me to say, please stand by.
Yeah, so...
So,
This movie stars Dakota Fanning as an autistic character named Wendy.
Wendy Welcott.
Yeah, Welcott.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
she's basically the only main actress really worth mentioning because the story is so much about her that it's difficult to place other people in order of importance, except maybe her behavioral aid.
Scotty.
Yeah, played by Toni Collette.
Yeah.
Who people who like bad horror movies will remember from Hereditary. I hated that movie.
Love that movie.
Yeah. I didn't like it.
But yeah, so she's in it. She does pretty well.
Yeah. So there's a couple of different things we wanted to talk about when it comes to this movie. One is the representation of autism. Here's the thing, dudes. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, there's one way to represent autism on screen. And, if you don't do it right, everyone's going to get mad at you. There are people that are like that. I'm not going to lie. But I'm not one of them.
Me neither.
That and Temple Grandin used to say, if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism.
Yeah.
That's one of her best-known quotes. And what did you think about the representation aspect of it?
I thought Dakota Fanning did pretty well portraying an autistic character, especially an autistic woman.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't really get talked about a lot either. It's usually males.
Yeah.
Yeah, so watching the film, I felt like this is a person that I feel like I could actually meet in real life.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I never thought she was completely overblown or stereotypical.
Right, which is honestly a problem with portraying any kind of character with a disability, I gotta say.
Yeah.
They tend to get reduced to stereotypes, and I like you. She actually reminded me of someone we both know who, for the purposes of this video, shall remain nameless.
Yeah.
But I thought she did a wonderful job. Anyone who has an issue with it needs to remember that people on the spectrum are not all alike, and there are people out there that are very, very close to what you saw on screen. There is one minor nitpick that I have, and it's pretty minor. So, for those of you who don't know, sometimes people with autism can have meltdowns, and they're not the same as tantrums. Tantrums are because you don't get what you want. Meltdowns are because your nervous system is super overloaded with complex emotions that your brain doesn't know what to do with, and that's the only way you can react.
Mm-hmm.
And how people react will differ from person to person almost entirely.
Yeah.
Some common features, and this is what I'm about to talk about, maybe curling up in a ball in a corner and just crying randomly. Some people get angry and throw things. Some people are violent to themselves. And I feel like in the movie they toned that aspect of it down a little too far. I would have liked it to be a little more real.
Yeah.
Because it does scare people, I understand that, and they don't want to turn off audiences. But for me, a great movie reflects something back at us that we may not want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps us to understand why that thing happens.
Yeah.
And when you try to tone down the level of self-violence to make a film more palatable, it does something to the story. It does something to your ability to empathize or to understand the gravity of a situation.
Yeah.
And that's the only problem I had with that area of the movie. So what's this thing about?
So Wendy's a big Star Trek fan,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she's trying to enter her script into this contest, which is held in LA. Or rather, she has to mail it to LA, but she can't really do that because by the time she finished it, it was Sunday, and so she just decided to take things into her own hands and escape her little, I guess, support home.
Yeah, she lives in like a group home type thing. I'm not really sure what to call those.
Yeah, but she was living there with other people who have autism. It looked like they were becoming adults, or they were adults.
Or other autistic people, if you prefer. Some people get mad at that sort of thing.
Yeah. But, yeah, so she goes on a road trip, basically, with a lot of misadventures, but she learns stuff about the world and about herself.
Yeah, she comes away from the movie understanding that she is capable of doing things for herself without needing everyone to always be around to make her environment comfortable.
Yeah.
It's hard, dude, because like the thing is, autism includes a lot of like sensory processing issues. And so some days, like, I don't know, this happens to both of us.
Yeah.
Like the world just literally seems louder or brighter or something, and it's hard to describe, and it becomes overwhelming. And she does a really good job of doing that subtly without just screaming.
Yeah.
And you expect her to scream because of all the things that she's going through one after another, but she doesn't. Some do. Just gotta say that. But she puts it all on her face somehow. And I think Dakota Fanning has grown into a wonderful actress. Like that, she killed it. The movie's very cool to me because of the whole scale, right? She lives in the Bay Area. The contest is in LA.
Yeah.
And to you guys, that might not seem like a huge deal. You're like, well, screw it, just take a bus down there. But the only buses she's ever taken are local buses, so she has to learn that there are two kinds of buses and that there are different rules on these kinds of buses. The tickets cost more. People are kind of jerks.
Yeah.
She gets her iPod and her money stolen. That made me very angry.
Yeah.
And it also made me think about the way people talk to autistics. Like, going, hey, blah, 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 dude, is not the way you want to do it.
Yeah.
Speak as calmly as you can. And, like, for example, Patton Oswalt is in this movie, and I thought he was amazing. I got to comment on that scene in a second. But I wanted to use this example because this happens in real life. So a lot of times they'll be like, hey, excuse me, sir, blah, blah, blah. And it's loud and it's abrasive. The thing that you want to do is talk normal.
Yeah.
And instead of being like, hey, to get attention, say what you want so I know how to deal with you. Right? Instead of saying, hey, if I'm lost and I look confused, be like, hey, I'm with the police. Your family's worried about you, and I'm just trying to make sure you're okay. That's it. And then I'll be like, if it were me, I'd be like, oh, well, okay, I guess I can tell you things. But if you just come at me and you don't say what this is about, and you go do your public servant thing, I'm probably not going to talk to you.
Yeah.
And that's coming from someone who knows a lot of weird social rules and things that don't make sense to me. And it's even more so for people who aren't as socialized, end quote.
Yeah.
So Patton Oswalt plays this minor character who's a police officer. And, you know, there's an APB out for a missing girl.
Yep.
And in there it says that she's described as, you know, having Star Trek stuff. And so he immediately picks up on that, tells his partner, who's the abrasive one, to hold on, I got this. And he starts speaking Klingon to her. And then that's how he gets her to leave with them. And he actually hears her script and was like, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then he actually helps her leave.
Yeah.
So she can, you know, get out of there and turn it in. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is there anything you want to say?
No, that's pretty much what I thought of.
So would you recommend that people watch this movie?
Yeah, I would recommend it, whether you are a person with autism
Or you know someone who's autistic?
Yeah, or you're just interested in general.
Or you like
you
Dakota
just need
Fanning.
to add general knowledge. Yeah.
Or you like Dakota Fanning because she really did a wonderful job. And I understand that there are people out there that are going to say, like, nothing about us without us, hashtag. I've heard that so many times, not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm extremely sympathetic. But here's the thing you have to understand, right? That's not always going to happen. Because, for example, I forgot his name. Jim Jeffries.
Yeah.
Had a show back in 2013 that featured a character that had MS. And he wanted a character played by an actor who had MS. And the studio told him that he couldn't do that because people with MS get really tired after like 4 hours of straight work and it's not economically feasible. I'm not defending ableism.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is that if an actor does a good job, and I mean honestly a good job, they shouldn't be made to feel as if taking the role makes them a crappy human being, because that's not true. I would much rather have movies like this exist so I can have conversations with people and teach them about this stuff
Mm-hmm.
than to never have them at all. Do you guys even understand how hard it is having to explain yourself every single day of your life just so people won't think you're being a complete dick?
Yeah.
It's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, the next time you want to cry, this is a problem, I'm saying right now I agree with you. But making people feel like crap for taking a role because they're able-bodied or whatever you think,
Mm-hmm.
that's not okay either.
Yeah.
Write your stories. Talk with the casting director. And be in control. Be a part of the solution. Be a part of the change. That's what I want to close this with. And I'll see you at the movies.
Yep.